There has been a pattern that's been living rent-free in my head, and today we're going to make it with a free pattern. The dress in question is the Ischia dress by DÔEN. It is beautiful and feminine and a dream. And then I saw the rose petal me dress by Adored Vintage, just as beautiful. And then there's a few pattern designers that's been making the pattern for this dress, called the Lillian dress, the Willa dress, and the Eleonora dress. Sadly, my budget does not allow the prices for those patterns. Not because I don't think the patterns are worth it, but just because I get paid in rands, and rands, comparison to the dollar or the euro or the pound, is not worth much. So, after a lot of contemplation and looking at the pattern, I realized it's actually not difficult to make. All you need is a peasant top pattern. And I have this one. But there's a few free ones, which I will link below, called Veronica by Mood Fabrics and the Clara Peasant Blouse by Fabric Store. If your pattern does not have a waistline like this one have, then just hold it onto you and see where the waistline will be and draw it in. Follow along and I'll show you how I've made mine. I have a picnic coming up on next Saturday. I've decided to invite a bunch of my friends to a Valentine's picnic. I don't know how many is coming. We'll see. I hope for 14, but I haven't even invited 14 because I don't know 14. But what I want is to make myself a dress for Valentine's Day. So you can go and you can find any of your peasant top patterns. I have this one and it is a bit low around the neck, so I will have to make the neck higher. You can even draw it up, but if you don't feel completely skilled in that, then just take your peasant top pattern. So there's my bodice pattern and there is my waistline. And then I will cut it higher at the top, about this much, on the sleeve and on both the bodice pieces. What's really nice about this type of peasant top, they literally just have the front, the back and the sleeve. What makes it intricate is to add the drawstring on the top. I'm still deciding if I want to do a drawstring or just going to do elastic. I might do both. Now, if you look at that pattern that I showed you, they all have the either a drawstring or an elastic in the waist. Now, because I have my waistline, I'm going to put draw the waistline on the pattern with a erasable marker, and then I'm going to put bias binding over there. With I think I do want a drawstring on the dress, so I will have a buttonhole, 2 buttonholes in the front to just put it in. Now you have your waist. Then you measure from your waist. So my waist is there, so I'm going to measure from my waist till right under my boob, because that is where you want the other elastic to go. It's 13 centimeters, so that's not a lot. So I'm going to have 3 rows of elastic, not just 2, because I like it more cinched in the waist. So the one option is to then draw a line for under the boob, and then you can just do shearing elastic right around for that whole space. That will pull it nice and in, but I want the free lines. So then in the middle of that, I'm going to draw the third line. So I had a video a while ago about the fact that how we are spending money on things, and it's good in some ways, but sometimes it's also overconsumption. And I just explore the fact that as sewists, some of us, I don't know if everybody, but I'm sewing because I don't want to add to all the fabric and all the clothes that's landing up in landfills. So I'm really aware of what I'm making. I make what I really either need or I've been dreaming about for a long time. Now, all these patterns have been around for quite some time. I think it's like in the last 3 or 4 years, you've been seeing it everywhere. But I didn't just want to jump in. I want to make sure that I really want that dress in my cupboard. So my friend Lisa, she sent me this vintage gingham fabric while I was still living in America, and I am so chuffed. It's basically 1/2 meter too short. It's going to go out to the bottom, so there will be some pieces coming off on the side. So I might just use those pieces to make the sleeve big enough, because that's how they used to do it at the turn of the century, because fabric was really expensive. Even before, like in the 1800s, you will look at those types of designs and they really just patched to make a big enough piece for whatever they were making. So that is what I'm going to do to make sure it's enough. And now we're going to start cutting out. So I'm going to not pin this pattern because it's really fragile. Like I said, I think I've had it like 20 years. I would like to have it for another 20 years. And you see these cuts? I have literally made it for all the sizes that this pattern has. And that's something you can do if you don't. I don't always trace patterns because it's another thing that I have to store, and I don't have access to nice pattern paper. And the big rolls of paper, they're just too chunky. So I'm going to now just draw this pattern off on the fabric. Make sure I transfer all my pattern markings. At the top, I want it longer because this neckline is quite low. And then I'm just following my pattern. There's a pattern marking. I'm making sure I put it down. There's a pattern marking. There's my waistline. We'll put in the waistline just now. And I will just meet up here and cut it. The next thing is for the waistline. I will fold it over so I can transfer the waist markings. Now, if you can see, I've put it a little bit at an angle. That's not a problem. You are just going to, where your marking is for your waistline, you are just going to mark it right through. What is nice with this is it does have a line that I can follow. So this pattern is now ready to be cut out. And then to make sure that one is the same length, I will measure it from under the arm. So there's my underarm, and I will see how far it goes down. And then I'll make sure I do the same for that one. And now it's the back. I'm just drawing it right onto the fabric. And we have the back. And now this piece in between I'm going to use for the sleeve. I cut the two pieces out, and now for the sleeve I only have this left over. But I do have these pieces. And it kind of fit, but I still need to make it longer. So what I'm thinking is to bring that down in here and then just add some pieces in the middle to make sure that I have enough. Okay, let's see if we have enough. We have a sleeve. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some of these pieces in there and on that side, and then we can cut out the sleeve. An update on the dress. I've sewed the sleeves in place, just going to zigzag. And then we're going to do one of the side seams. And then after we've done the side seams, we are going to do the cosy or the bias binding where I want to put the elastic in. So one of the things I want to urge you not to skip is your ironing step. I know it feels like over the top because it's just the seam and you're just going to keep on wrinkling it up. But if I iron this seam open now and I put my bias binding, then afterwards it is so much neater. And I also know by doing this step that the bias binding, this will not move over here because that I really don't want. And I know that everything will fit in this position where they belong. And there's also no pulling up on the seam afterwards because I've already ironed it flat. Oh, just do that. Try not to burn our fingers in the process. And then I'm going to measure out where the waist binding is going. So for the waist, I'm just putting bias binding and then the elastic will go into the bias binding. So I'm really trying to use up all the scraps and stuff that I have. And I have a whole box full of bias binding that I cut through the years for projects, which I ended up not using all of it. So for this project, I'm just going to use up my bias binding. So I am now placing the bias binding on the middle line, which I drew out beforehand. And then that is my first place. That's the first line where I am going to put elastic. But I want to finish the middle line and the one just under the boob and maybe the neckline to put bias binding, and then I will continue tomorrow when I get home. So that's one thing you need to prepare yourself for. You can go and buy bias binding, but don't get the thin one. Get the one that's about this big, 1.5 centimeter after it's finished. It needs to be that width to fit your elastic. So I'm just going to go ahead, pin the middle one, sew it down, fold it over and iron it in place, and then sew the top line, and then I'll measure for the next line. It's pinned and we're going to sew it now. So you're now going to fold it over and iron it flat, and then fold in your bias binding and iron it flat. And we're going to do it all the way and then do it again for the next row. I've measured now from where my waist is until where the next one must be. It is 9 centimeters, but I'm going to give it a 1 centimeter seam, so I'm measuring from where I sewed. This binding is a bit wide, so for that reason I've cut this one a bit narrower. So I'm measuring from where I sewed 9 centimeter, and that is where that one will go, and I'm just going to go all the way to the other side. It's pinned. I'm now going to sew it about a centimeter away from the edge. For the neck, I folded it over about 1/2 centimeter, and then I folded it over, I think it's a centimeter, let's just measure, or a centimeter and a half. Yeah, a centimeter and a half. And now I'm just going to sew it down.
I'm gonna let the sun shine in today. I'm trying to make this darkness go away. I'll paint with colors and I'll sing until my lungs give out. I'm gonna let the sun shine in today.
It's at this point where I'm questioning my life choices. I've done 3 rows, and then I realized for my waist I want another row, and this is taking so long. It would have been faster, I think, to do shearing, but I will like the look. So I am just going to continue putting all of these little things through the elastic, through the casings, and I'll meet up with you when I'm done. We are now putting the elastic around the neck. Again, just using a safety pin, pulling it through. I've done my 3 rows of elastic in this dress. Can't believe how heavy it is, but it is a lot of fabric. And I think the binding is fine. I haven't fitted it because you can't really fit this dress until everything is together. So I'm holding thumbs that it all works out. Stay tuned, we're going to have a fitting just now. Okay, it's not bad, but I wish I had more for the sleeve. I would have liked the bigger sleeve too down there. I like how it cinches my non-existing waist. I made a mistake by sewing it and just going right around. I should have done the front part alone and the back part alone, because now I'm struggling to get the gathers to be equal or even. But I think it's a success. I don't have a proper mirror here, so I haven't been able to see properly. I don't know if I like this, but I think it's just part of the pattern. I might just go and make, I don't want to make it tighter. Maybe in the back, I can make the elastic a bit tighter, but I'll first sew down everything. But overall, I think I like it. I'll have to wear it to see if I really like it.
And I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of people talking and the wind blowing in the trees. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day. I'm gonna let the past be filled with smoke. And I will try to fix what has been broken and take this weight off my shoulders, cause I know yesterday ain't coming back. I'm gonna let the past stay in the cold. Listen to the ocean, let its unsaid words be spoken, and I'll let my mind be carried.
Feeling at that stage in jail, he was tortured. And while he was in jail, the jailer, one story is he fell in love with her. The other story is she was sick and he healed her. But apparently he wrote her a note from your Valentine, and that's where that part started. But then at the same time of this, like around this time of year, there was a pagan festival which was really quite atrocious. Like they would draw lots and then those people were paired off, and it was really a an orgy basically. And so the priest, the Pope in 800 after Christ wanted to bring the pagans into the church. So he combined the two, and that's where you get the Valentine's.